When I was studying the ancient Hebrew, I came across a portrayal of the Melech Elohim and the angel of God set forth within the Shem HaMephorash and the teachings of the ancient Kabbalah. And what we end up looking at is a new way of the perception of God's fundamental principles: peace, patience, kindness, love, and the duality of light and darkness. Now, in this prayer, you notice the Shema HaMephorash, the 72 names of God. What they've actually done is taken a Bruce Fejon encryption on the story from Exodus 14:19 through 22 and taken the 72 verses and put them into a very complex but also simple uh, amalgamation to where we end up seeing how each of these created prayers and variations are in a similar way as a myriad brought forth as almost an angel, if you will, but more so that it is within this that we find a variety of the different names of God, and it shows forth the different portions of God's characteristics and the contrast and duality of each of those spirits. So that where there's love, there's hatred, where there's peace, there's war, and that we can end up sowing these into existence, but also finding the contrast and duality of that light. And so that in the same way as we look towards the sun, and we see the different variations of color, that each one of those portions of that color is also a different variation of the spirit and spiritual vibration, so that there is, for instance, a vibration of love. In the same way, there's a dissonance of hatred. And the ability for us to play that chord is to fine-tune the heart as it is. And God teaches us to look at the world not in every color, but black and white, and to see that this is righteousness and this is wickedness. Solomon uses the same way, but it is to tune that so that we then are able to change that perception and understand that for each of the hardships that we go through is balanced with the light and the blessing of God. So that when we face various trials or persecutions, or for instance in Romans, when it says that, for we know all things work together for good, it teaches us to accept the hardships of this world and to realize that an equal spiritual blessing is given in that. So in the same way as we look towards a sin wave or a harmonical system, we can see a balance within that. And the balance is set within vibration, and the vibration itself is the energy that is brought within creation. So that if we are to speak anything into existence, there is an equal and opposite forth of that creation. And we can see this within Christ as a perfect example. His sacrifice at the cross ended up building forth an eternal blessing. In the same amount of sufferings that he had, there is also an eternal amount of blessings. I want to give you this message so that you can not only have a better understanding of the ancient Hebrew of the Word of God, if you would like to look up this prayer, but more so that you understand that everything happens for a reason. That if you are going through a dark period, that there is light on the other side. And that if you have a spiritual blessing, be ready for the hardships that are called to come with that. So that if you are given much, much is also called of you. And that if you find yourself in a blessing state of peace, realize that it is that harmony that you have set forth within that balance of love, peace, patience, kindness, and gentleness.